So, welcome everyone. I'm so glad to have you here today. So, we have with us quite a few things we need to look at. This, of course, is for the juicer. We're going to start juicing first. Today, of course, we're going to be doing my creamy, oh so creamy tomato, tangy tomato soup, which I happen to love and which most of my clients love, but of course, it's not for everyone. And but I hope you will enjoy it and that you will join in and share the merriment. So I think around food we need to be not just reverent, but we also need to be joyful. We need to bring ourselves in the most joyful way possible. So to do that, we're starting out with the mighty carrot. So we're going to be starting by juicing the carrot. Those of you who have a juicer, we will juice it. If you do not have a juicer, no problem. We can just actually cut these carrots up, put them in the blender, add some water to them, maybe like a cup of water, and then voila, you'll have your carrot juice. But we will start by blending them, which is what I'm going to do now. So let's go to the table, shall we? So here we go. You've got your carrots. I'm putting the tomatoes away. These, yes, are the star of the show, but goodbye to them for the time being. So we're going to be actually putting the juicer in the center here so you can see everything. And for the juice, of course, we need two baskets. We need this one for the pulp. So that's going to go in here. Now we need this other one for the actual juice itself. So that's going to go here. This is actually my favorite juicer. I've been through so many juices, it's unbelievable. You know, as a child, I was really fortunate because as a child, I grew up with vegetables and juices and fruits being my treats. I did not grow up with candy. So I had a different upbringing. So that's why this is easy for me and second nature. But for those of you, I really congratulate those of you who were not brought up that way and you're going this path now, because to me, it's the path less traveled and the path we all need to take. So this very important knife, this is a ceramic knife. Now, there are different kinds of ceramic knife. They can be white like this. This one I've had for maybe 20 years, maybe since I met Doug. And look, it's still going. This is the beauty of ceramic knives. They do not change the energy of the food. Something that's really, really a big deal for me because I am all about energy. We are balls of energy as dust. We rotate all over the world. We are always rolling around the world as dust. And from the earth we came, the earth we shall return, but we need to increase our energy while we're here. All diseases come from lack of the proper energy in our body and from an actual depletion of our energy. So that's why I am using this, which is the ceramic knife. So we're going to be cutting the carrots just a wee bit. I don't have to in this juicer. So if you're starting, those of you who are juicing, you can start cutting the carrots. You can see me cutting it here. I will, if you need me to slow down and wait for you, then please go ahead and do so. If you're putting this in the blender, go ahead and do so now. Cut them up, put them in the blender, along with maybe like a cup of water. And then here, by the way, I have my little compost bin. So make sure you always have a compost to put the food in. We do not want to destroy the earth while we do everything we can to make ourselves healthy. We want to keep everything and everyone healthy. I also have, and if you don't have this yet, you might want to get it, a bowl of water so you can wash your hands. So make sure that you have a bowl of water nearby. So I keep it right beside me always. And then to wipe my hands, I do my best never to use paper towels. So what I have here, these are actually from Sweden. And yes, I get them from Sweden because I really love them. They're called Wetted. And they are not just biodegradable, but they can also be composted. And I use them up to maybe 80 times before I have to say goodbye to them before they go into the compost. And of course, they're biodegradable. So I'll be using this to wipe my hands and to wipe everything else so we do not pollute the earth. Okay, so let's start our juicing, shall we? It's very important when you're juicing to make sure that everything that you do is actually in alignment with what it is that you're trying to do. So here we go. Carrot 1, 2, and this machine will just juice it itself. Now, if I want to, I can use the plunger to bring it down. It's really totally up to you. Soon you will see it will not come through here yet because this stops it. It will come in here first and it will mix first in here before it goes down. But I'm going to actually, okay. So I'm putting the knife away. There we go. I hope you're all doing this too. So we're all juicing together. Cutting and juicing, cutting and juicing. There we go. And we can talk about the pulp afterwards. Can you see it's beginning to be filled in here? It's very important when juicing that you can see what's happening, I think. So I like to see what's going on in the juicer, which is why I have this particular juicer. Let me put some more in here. If you notice, I don't have to keep using the plunger for this at all. So the little top here, I'm putting this in the compost bin. If it's too big, I put it through here instead. Because sometimes it is too big, and then I'll need to use the plunger for that. Sometimes I have fat carrots, sometimes I've got skinny ones. I try to make them all the same, but it's not always possible. If you notice also, this is going really quick because I don't have to do as much with the juicer. I just keep putting things in there, and that's enough. You can also cut them up 3 at a time or 4 at a time. If you have not much time, that you can do that. And that's the beauty of a ceramic juice knife is also it's very sharp, and you never ever need to sharpen it, ever. It doesn't change the energy of the foods. As you will see when I cut the avocado, it will never turn brown, the avocado. So let's finish off the carrots in here. Have to use the plunger again. There we go. See how much is coming out? See how dry this is? This is really important. This is dry. You want all the liquid going in here. Too many people are dehydrated to be wasting the liquid. Gold from this. Okay, that goes in the compost bin again. Et voila, that's it for the first part of this recipe. We have almost finished with this. Now watch me. I'm going to open this up, and this will all come now into this container because it was mixing in here first. So if I had had carrots with apples or anything else, it would have been mixed in here beforehand, so I don't have to mix it when it comes out. I don't even need to strain it either. So that's really important to me. Okay, a cup of carrot juice. Here you go. Enjoy.
Doreen, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Doug.
Can you tell us about those cutting mats again? Or
Yes. The cutting mats or the wiping mats? This one?
Yes, the wiping mats.
So these are 70% vegetable cellulose and 30% cotton. And they are not just biodegradable, but they're also compostable. So I have had them for maybe since August, and you just wash them as you would anything else, and then you use them
again and again. Okay.
Again and again. So instead of using paper towels. And what I have is they have all kinds of different designs, and they've got one for us vegans, and especially us raw vegans. They have a lot of them with fruits and vegetables on it as well.
Nice.
Yeah, and they're from Sweden.
Do you have a brand name or anything like that?
Yes, it's called Wet It. I don't know if you can see this.
Hold on.
And it's from Sweden.
Oh, lovely. Thank you. Thank you. That's just what we needed.
You're so welcome, Doug. I am very much believe that if we're going to be mindful enough to be eating raw, that we need to make sure that we do not help to destroy the planet in the process. So I'm moving this now. I am putting this away. I'll be right back because I am going to now bring in the blender because we have to start blending soon. And we're changing over. So we have the pulp here. Now, why do I not use the pulp? You could, if you want to, put it in the soup. In fact, it would be great to have it in the soup for more fiber. Fiber, fiber, fiber. Really, really critically important. Or I can also use this afterwards in my salads, or I can also use it to make, when I'm making smoothies, I can put that in there too. Or I can also dehydrate it. And there's a lot of recipes in my recipe books about what to do with the fiber. And I'm coming up with a new app, which will have even more ideas. It's going to be an entire section on what to do with the fiber that is left over from juicing, an entire section in the app for that. So, okay, I just need time to finish writing that app. Okay, so here comes the blender. Why? Well, because we're now going to make the soup. Okay, just need to plug this in now. And one of the things that I really want to make sure that everyone here realizes today is that it's not the food that's going to heal us. It's us that are going to heal us. The food is simply a tool. As beautiful as this is, as rich and stunning as this is, it's the food that heals us. So instead of asking the carrot juice to do for us what we need to bring our own energies higher and bring it on a higher plane to meet the high vibration of this food. So it's not enough to just be using this. I'm putting this now in the blender. I'm pouring it. I'm going to bring this a little closer so you can see that. And I'm pouring this now in here because this is how we start. Now, because I'm already pouring this in here, what I'm going to do is I am going to take the actual dried, sun-dried tomatoes, and I'm going to put them in here so while we're doing everything else, they can get a little soak and soak up some of the carrot juice in the meantime, which will make it even tangier. Remember, this is a tangy soup, so we're going to focus on all things tangy. So, okay, now those are two things that are in there. Now, if you look, you will see that one of them tried to stay up the top. So I'm putting it all the way in. Make sure that it's submerged, okay, in your carrot juice. So I'm just putting this to the side while we go through everything else here. So I started to speak about the fact that we're not meant to just consume food, not in my opinion anyway. I believe we need to first present ourselves to the food. What I see missing in most raw people's diet is their own presence. They consume, they want the soup, they want to know, what do I get from this? What is in this? What will this do for me? But they never ask themselves, what can I bring to the food? What can I do for my own self to raise my own vibrational energy so it matches the vibrational energy of the food? Otherwise, all that you're doing is putting something that's alive and full of energy into a body that's depleted and lacking energy. If you raise your own energies to meet the energy of the food, it's like fireworks. So we're going to be cutting this. Now notice, when I cut this, it's a clean cut. But first I'm going to show you a way. If you don't want to cut it, or you're camping, or you do not want to start doing anything where you have to be using a knife, you can actually press down in the center here, and that you can take it out there. But I'm going to cut into this today because we're making soup. But normally, if you want to make like a stuffed pepper, that's all you do for the stuffed pepper. So I'm going to cut this according to the energy lines of the food. Always cut according to the energy lines of the food. I used to be a macrobiotic counselor, and that's one of the things I learned the most. I have learned so much from the Japanese. It is pretty incredible. Oh, the scent, the aroma. We eat with all our senses. We eat with our eyes, with our ears, with our mouth, with a feeling of touch. We have to, with the sound of it. Did you hear the sounds that made? We need all of this when we eat. And that's why we need to eat mindfully so we can be in touch. Look at the juice rushing out of that. It's on my hands, the juice. That, can you see that on my fingers? That juice? This is how full of life and water and vibrancy this is. That's why I say we need to also bring ourselves to the food on the same level. And how do you do that? By deep breathing. There are many different breathing exercises. In fact, in the programs that I offer, it's part of what we do is that you have to deep breathe. And I have specific exercises, guided breathing exercises for people before they eat the food, that they deep breathe so they change their own energies to match the energy of the food. Look at that splendid, gorgeous beauty again. Oh, it's almost a pity to put it in the blender, not just chew it like this. This is what, as a child, I used to do. I would just chew everything like that, and I'm a mono eater. Ever since I was a child, I still am. I do these things for my clients, these recipes, but I happen to believe there are too many recipes in the world. What we need is our own presence, is our own self. And that's what missing on almost every occasion. So here we go again. Beautiful, stunning, gorgeous. And we're putting that in there. Now, I do have a little bit left over. I'm going to take what's left right here and put that in the soup as well. And I did say a large pepper. So this part is going to go into the compost bin. There we go. So I'm going to mix this up by itself first. I happen to like to do one at a time. You don't have to. You can keep it exactly the way it is now and then mix yours when you want. Now you've got to make a decision as well. Do you want your soup to be thick and with a lot of things in there that you can eat, of the fiber still intact, or do you prefer a thin soup and then with the garnish we'll put on it, you have that to eat? It's up to you. I happen to like thick soups. I like to feel everything. So those are the pepper and the carrot juice. Do you remember this? I asked you to get this, the hemp seeds, and you were to soak them in advance. I soaked this morning and then I drained it. Here is the beauty, the omega 3s and 6s, all that protein that we're constantly being accused of not getting or not having enough of. And of course, this is lots of fiber too. Always the fiber, always think fiber. And so here we go. We're putting that in there now too. And I shall mix it. This is where we're going to get a lot of the creaminess, both from this and the avocado is where the creamy part comes in. And I am a bit of a, I don't like to save things. I believe in using every part of it. I don't believe in throwing things away. I believe in being very mindful that there are people who actually planted these seeds, who actually tilled the soil for us, who was out there in, well, this, because hemp is growing in colder climates, they're out there in the cold and whatever weather to bring this to us. I don't believe in wasting it. So I believe in using up as much of it as possible. So I've now put the hemp in there. Now, because I am putting the hemp in there, which is going to make it creamy, I'm also going to put the avocado. Now, please pay attention to this. To know when the avocado is ripe, most people go and they squeeze it. Please don't do that. You're bruising the avocado. Would you like somebody to come around and squeeze you to see if you're ready? No, 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 no. Please don't do it. There are two ways you can do this. You can either put it in the palm of your hand and just lovingly, gently, just press into it and you'll feel if it gives or not. Don't force it to give. If it's not giving, it won't give if you force it. Or, or you can, if you have an avocado like this one, you can simply go to the stem and put your finger there and just, you'll feel if it gives or not. So these are the two ways you can find if avocado is ready or ripe without bruising it and treating it like it was not a reverent being, because this is just as reverent as the rest of us are. There is a beauty in here which none of us can replicate. So just like there's a beauty in you that nobody else can replicate, please honor the beauty and not spoil it. So here we go. Now the way to cut into an avocado is to cut from the top. Always start at the stem. And then you just, for this is, because this is a ceramic knife, I can leave this avocado out for the rest of the day. It will never brown because it does not change the energy of the food. So here we have our pit, which I hope most of you are actually sowing and putting in water with the toothpicks and growing. And we have more avocados here because you never know when you open an avocado if it's going to be, what stage it's going to be in. So again, for you to see if it's ready, just massage it. Just give it a little caress, just like how you would like to be caressed. Or you press it down here. And now we're going to open this one and see what state this one is in. And we say thank you to all the growers, everyone who planted and oh, perfection. Now, not to say that this is not perfect either, but this one, look at, do you see the water in there? Now, here is my issue with the raw foods community, and I do have an issue that we focus only on the food and what the ingredients are and what the nutrient value. What we need to do is focus instead on the elements. We need to replenish elements because we're made up of the same elements as the food is. So we're made up of the element of air, of water. You can see the water really easily in here. We're made of the element of fire, of earth, and of ether, which is also called known as space. And that's what we need to be replenishing. And that is why I love the avocado, because it's really easy, I think, in here to see the element. You really must focus on restoring the elements because you are made up of the exact same elements that every living thing on earth is made up of. And that's where wanting to restore. That's why genetically modifying our foods is such a disaster and is such a crime. It's because we are no longer honoring the elements and we're killing the elements of the food. Now, if you have a large avocado, you can put in a whole one. If you have small ones like I did, look, this piece I'm going to remove and put that in the compost bin. Actually, more is there. So my mother taught me to do this, to just cut around it so we don't waste it. And I'm going to actually leave one out so you can see at the end of the show that it's still going to be that same exact color. It won't have changed at all. There we go. Beautiful. Oh my gosh, just holding them in my hand. So be sure that your sense of touch is being used, your sense of smell, your sense of hearing, your sense of taste. Do not just rely on your taste as to how something tastes when you're eating raw foods. No, make sure you satiate all the senses and then you will never be addicted to anything. And you will also restore your own energies in a much more complete way rather than just the sense of taste only, because that's what leads to overeating and addictions and all of the illnesses and diseases which we've given ourselves. So this one goes in. Now, most of the time you'll see most chefs do this to take the pith out. Because of the way I just did it, I don't even need to do that. It just slides right out. That goes to in the compost bin. So here we are in here now. So now I have to wash. So use the water that you have there and then use the wet it. And you will see that it will take everything from my hand. My hand will be supremely clean. And I can still use this for more as well. So there we go. Now, because I want to put the creaminess in here, let's just a little bit. Let's just do this one. Oh, see, I spilled some here from the top. So the wet it again comes in and I'm using that. So ready to do some more of this? Okay, if you're blending away, you can stop. Now we have, I'd ask you to get 2 garlic cloves and to peel them in advance. There we go. So now we're going to put those in there as well. Now, if you only want 1 garlic clove, that's also fine. It's really up to you. And I'm going to put also this onion in here. So I happen to love purple onions. So it's you only need 1/4 of an onion. I'm going to wipe the knife first. And another thing with this ceramic knife, you need to wash them immediately. Do not let anything stay on there, otherwise they will stain. They're also pretty fragile. They're not like other knives where you can drop them a lot and do a lot of things to them. Okay, so that's half of this. Oh my gosh. Can you see all the elements in there? Of water, of fire, of earth, of air, and of space. This is the beauty on the smell. Oh my gosh, this is what the earth offers up to us on a daily basis for our healing. And we reject it by cooking it and also by just eating it mindlessly. When you eat something mindlessly, so what I did was I halved the half. So now I have 1/4. That's how I get 1/4. I half the whole, then I half the half, and then I get the quarter. So now to peel this, I can either peel it just like this, comes off really easily, or I could also have chopped it up first, and that takes it off. This goes into the compost bin, and this one goes into the blender. So that's that part of it. Now, I didn't tell you to do this, and I'm hoping that you'll forgive me, but if you want to, this is just an optional thing. If you want to, you can actually put some cinnamon in there. It is so delicious with cinnamon. This is just optional, and I will give you some more ideas like this as we go along if we have time. Now, this is where if you want, you should have had a peeled lemon. If you have that, you can go ahead and peel it. What I do, because I'm a chef and I have so many, and I have all these shows and whatnot, what I do is I make my own juice, my own lemon juice every Sunday morning. You notice mine is down because this is from Friday, and I'm just going to use the juice itself. But you can now juice your lemon into the blender, please. So I always juice lemon and celery juice. I make celery juice separately, lemon juice separately. I make turmeric juice separately, and I make ginger juice separately, and I keep them in bottles, and they're always in my fridge ready to go. So that's why I have that already ready. So we've used this. Now for the beauties. Oh, here comes the star. Yes, 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 yes. I love her them. So do you see this? This is so beautiful. Look at this heirloom tomato. Oh, I just want to hold it as an art form and just frame it, but I'll frame it in my body instead. So this other one, another heirloom tomato, and they're just coming into season now, which is why I thought it'd be good to introduce it to you because, you know, before they come to season, you have, or if you have a own garden, oh my gosh, if you have a garden, how incredibly smart of you. This one, because I said to save the yellow one for the garnish at the end, because the soup will be red, then the yellow will really complement it. So I'm putting that here, putting that away. So we're going to be using these. So we said the Roma tomatoes, the ones on the vine, and I keep them on the vine until the second we're about to use them. It's tricky to wash them like this, but actually it really is worth keeping it there. So we have these. I'm actually, because this is green, only because this is green, I'm a little purple here. I'm going to use only half of this, but you can use your whole one just because I want this in there of the garnish afterwards. But go ahead. So you should use all of the heirloom tomatoes that you got, the two medium-sized ones, and you put that in the blender. Now, if you want, oh my gosh, look how it's oozing from there. Oh, 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 look at that. Look at that beauty. Look at this. Can you see that? This is the blood of the earth coming to us to replenish us. This is just amazing. And here comes the other one. So we're going to cut this too, according to the energy lines of the food again, not against it, but according to the energy lines. And here we are. Oh, I love being on earth. I love the fact that the earth gives us so much bounty. And even when we ignore it, it still continues to do that. Here we go. Not that we should be ignoring it. I'm not saying that you need to ignore it. By the way, it's the opposite. Okay. So again, wiping of the hands or washing of the hands, whatever is needed. I've got to wipe this. I like to keep my little area clean. So this now will go into the compost bin. Let me just clean off here first and just wipe this off. I learned this from the Japanese chefs. They always wipe everything down. It's really respectful and respecting yourself. When we disrespect ourselves, we disrespect the food supply. When we disrespect the food supply, we disrespect all the millions of beings in the soil that work on our behalf. Do you know that there are more living beings in the soil working on our behalf than we have cells in our body? So that's really important. Now, I had said to use the cilantro as a garnish, but if you have a lot of it, you can also put it in here as well. And if you love cilantro the way that I do, then yes, you can put it in there. Now, the only other liquid we have that's missing, I had said if you have any kimchi lying around, we're going to use like a tablespoon of it in here. So I have, so even my spoons are ceramic. I also have forks that are ceramic. I don't want to have metal in my mouth. I don't want that energy. If I'm going to be eating raw foods, I want to make sure that I have the highest vibrational energy of everything on earth in there. So here we go. I'm now pouring some of the juice from there, from the kimchi. Now, if you don't want to use kimchi because of the smell, I totally understand. But then use anything that you've made pickles with, or just don't use anything at all. You don't have to. But I happen to love what it does to the taste. It really changes the, not just the taste, but the texture. It's everything in life changes everything. We change one thing, then everything else is changed. So this is what we have right now. So we've got the avocado in there. We've got, of course, the juice, the carrot juice. We've got some of the tomatoes, but not all of them. So let's go with the Roma tomatoes, please. Now, let's say you only want to make a small amount. Just cut down the recipe in half. Again, here it comes pouring out of here. Can you see all the elements? Oh my gosh. And people are dehydrated all the time. That was the Roma tomato. Now I'm going to get one of those that are on. Isn't this beautiful? Isn't this a work of art? This to me is just one of the most beautiful things that I can ever see in my life. It's pure beauty. Now, how to get it from here without being violent with it? Do not bring violence into the kitchen or to your food, please. Just lovingly caress it and just play with it until see, immediately it just dislocates itself from there. It's like, oh, that's a very loving. I want to go there instead. So do not be throwing food in. I hear chefs going, dump this in and throw this in. And all the language that's used around food is so violent. Let me grab some lunch. Please be mindful of your language around food. That is the energy you're putting into the food that's now going into your body. You know, if we're already vegan because we do not want what's going on to the animals, then why are we continuing using the same language as when we were non-vegans? We need a whole new language for vegans, and especially in the raw world. That's why I teach nonviolent communication, and in my books, you will see in the programs that I offer to people, the first thing that I have people do before they even start in the raw food is change their language around food. So there we go. You don't have to do all of it. I am not doing all of it today because I'm using a smaller one like this, and also because I see we're going out of time. You know, Larissa was concerned that I wouldn't have enough to do. I told her, oh yes, I will. Okay, so let's put this on. There we go. Soup is served. Oh, do smell it. Do you use your sense of smell to smell it? Use your sense of touch to touch it. Use your sight. Oh my gosh. And then I want you to use a spoon and listen to the sounds it makes as you're eating it. But isn't this stunning? See how creamy it is now? And what I'm going to do, I'm putting this away so that this is out of here. Now get your container that you're going to be eating the soup in, please. I have 2 of them. I have one, so you can leave this in the fridge. Please do not use plastic. This is glass, and this is silicone. So make sure you're not using plastic. Do not ever damage your own body or the beauty of the food that's come to you by using plastic. So here we have the serving dish for the soup. We're going to now, here we go. Look at this creamy, delicious, absolutely beautiful work of art from Earth. Earth, Mother Earth, thank you, thank you, thank you. Father Sky, Sun, Moon, the stars are all in here. Everyone who went by this when they were planted in the fields, everyone who planted them, everyone who worked on our behalf. That's why I think those of us in the raw community must start advocating for farm workers. Really, really important. So we're going to now do the rest of this. Let's put this away. I'm actually going to put everything away. So not just the soup itself that's still in the blender, but I'm also putting this part of the blender away so that you can see. And again, I learned this from the Japanese, to be minimal. You know, I said the elements are also space. Think of how you can create more spaciousness in your kitchen, in your own life, and you will stop overeating and you'll stop always being hungry. It's pretty amazing how that works. So we have this here now. Now I am going to take, I said only a few sprigs of the cilantro, right? So what you're going to do is, you see how it has its beautiful leaves up here? I'm going to take this, and this I will juice later. So I'm not putting this in the compost. I'm putting it right here for juicing later. Here's another one sticking out. And I'm going to use mainly the leaves. Now, I tend to just lovingly caress them like this in a loving way rather than put a knife to them. So that's what I'm going to do now. And now go into your heart energy. Feel your heart. There's a direct energy line between the middle finger and your heart. So make sure you use that middle finger and then connect to your heart energy as you do this and give thanks. And just be loving to both this and to yourself. Find more love. Find ways to create more love, and the whole earth will benefit. And so here we go. Now you can put it in the center if you wish. Do what you wish. You can put it around the corners. You can put it in the center. You can make it straight. You can make it into a circle. It's really up to you. Now we're going to be cutting up some of this, the heirloom tomatoes. Remember I said to have the yellow one set aside. I have that, but right now. So here we go. I'm putting, so this is already cut in half. You can either use this as it is, as big as it is in half, but I happen to like it in a, see, I cut according to the energy lines again. I happen to like it smaller. So I'm going to cut mine smaller, but it's up to you. If you like a big hunka, then please feel free to do that as well. So I am going to put mine like this. You do whatever you want. I'd love to see your own creations, by the way, how you do this. So please send your photographs to Larissa, and Larissa, please send them to me so I can see for myself what the community is doing. Here we go. Now, the yellow one. Yes, I love this one so much. I love them all. You know, it's not like a child where you have to, these are like children where you have to say, oh, I love this one, but I love this one best. And I hear people in the raw food community calling food superfoods as if the other foods are inferior. You will never hear me use the word superfood around any food because that's creating competition around between food, the same competition we create within ourselves. We then take it to the food and we do the same. So I never say superfood because every food has all the 5 elements that we need, and we need to be replenished with them. Now this one I am putting here. Again, I want to see your creations. Maybe you can even hold it up when you're finished to the camera so we can see them. I am not even going to be very detailed with this. I just put it wherever it wishes to be. So it's like, go where you wish to. If I sang, I would sing. I would sing now. Okay, so there's that. So we have one more avocado to do. Before I get into the avocado, though, I'm going to wipe the knife again. Here we go. By the way, why all of these tomatoes? Because the combination is what makes it so unique. So remember, press in here to see if it's ripe, or just lovingly caress it to see if it's ripe. Now, I don't want a big one here because this is just start at the top always. I don't want to have a big one because this is just for the garnish, but it's also to eat. So I happen to like eating with my soups. Some people prefer liquidy soups, so you don't have to put these in if you do not wish to. It's really up to you. Another thing that I like to put in here besides the cinnamon is sometimes I actually put some fenugreek, especially if it sprouts. And I sometimes will put sprouts on top of here too. In the winter, I sprout. I do not sprout in the summer. The summer, I'm pretty much a fruitarian. That's all I love to eat is fruits. I do make green smoothies, but I just, a lot of fruit, a lot, and mono eating, that's all I do. I actually just cut open a jackfruit that people asked me to show how to do it because it took me 2 hours. And I'm going to be making a video of showing how to do that. And we'll be on, of course, my Instagram and Facebook and Twitter pages. But see how, oh, I meant to leave that other one for you to see how it stayed at the end, but I forgot. Oh, well. So now I am putting this one in here. Of course, this pith will go either into the recycle bin or we will plant it and grow some more. Now this one I'm going to do again lengthwise, and I'm putting this one here. I want to see your creations afterwards. It's really incredible stuff that I see happen in the raw food community. I'm always so thrilled when I see some of the artwork, which I just don't know how people come up with. I am absolutely astounded. But everybody has an artist in them. We just have to practice, practice, practice until we see it. So, do you remember I asked you to do the mushroom? Now, you could either quarter this like this, and then, especially if you're male and you or if you like things really a lot in your, feel like it's very big and meaty. But I happen to like the mushrooms really small, again, cutting according to the energy lines. And this time I'm going to put this in the center. More fiber, more fiber, more fiber, more fiber. There's never enough fiber. As long as there's enough hydration, that's all you need to counter it with is the hydration. Because you need all the 5 elements, everyone. And water is the main thing. Do you know, it's really interesting. Air is the most important thing we need. And I give all these breathing exercises for people to do before they eat the food. And they're like, oh, I can't be bothered to breathe. The food was so delicious. I ate it before. And I said, but you didn't bring yourself to the food, did you? And you also subtracted the main element, which is air. So we can actually live for 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food, but not even 3 minutes without air. So that is why we need to deep breathe. And I would love to see the raw community really take on a whole new language around food. And actually would love to get together with Doug to do that. And I didn't say to use this as a garnish, but or just I happen to like bits and pieces of the actual onion, so I'm just going to put a little bit of this in there. But now we're going to do my favorite thing to put in here are the radishes. So look at these beauties. Look at this. Oh my gosh, we've got purple ones, deep purple. And because we're doing something that's red with the tomatoes, I'm going to put a white one in and maybe a pink one and a purple one. So we're going to cut these up again according to the energy lines of it. So it has this little tail here, and you can just play with it until the tail comes off, and you just lovingly do so. Bring love to your table. Bring love to the preparation. Bring your full self. What's always missing in food, people trying to heal themselves, is themselves. And you can only heal yourself. Food cannot do that for you. It's just a tool. Now, if it's raw, it's an incredible tool. But what you're doing is diminishing it by not raising your own vibrational energy to meet the vibrational energy of the food itself. So I invite you today, as of today, to really start focusing on how you can be more present for yourself and therefore for the food. Isn't this stunning? Oh my gosh, I just am in love with this. So I realize that we're running out of time, and I know that Larissa has some other things on her plate that she'd like to do. So after we do this one, I'm just going to put on the cayenne pepper and the red pepper flakes, only if you wish to. The red pepper flakes are new for me. I'm not used to using them. That's very new for me, that I've started using red pepper flakes. I was really not into them, just a lot of cayenne pepper. I do not use black pepper either, because black pepper does irritate the lining of the digestive system. The last thing we want to do is provoke the digestive system, because it's the emperor. It rules over everything else. So I'm always about restoring digestive health in every way possible. I love radishes because I grew up on them. And this is one of my favorite breakfasts in the morning. In my fridge right now, if you look, I've got radishes that are marinating. I learned that from my sister. She loves to marinate, although she's not raw. She's not even vegan, but this is just part of her cuisine. And she taught me how to do that, and I then found different ways, and this will be in my app as well. So here's the big purple one. I do want some purple in there, but I'm not going to cut it tiny because I want to see the purple, so that you can see we have the colors of the rainbow here. And voila, to Larissa, to Doug, to Brian, to every one of you, l'chaim, bon appetit, beteyavon, and I sure hope that today you'll partake not just of the food, but of your, Larissa, I love it. Today, don't just partake of the food, partake of the essence of who you are. find out who you are. Bring yourself the food. Connect with between your middle finger as you're holding it to your heart, and feel the love moving from your heart to this.